Yep, that's me. Shout out to my mom's 90s hair, y'all. Yep, that little beautiful cherub is me, just having a great time, good little birthday, nothing to worry about. And this is my dad. Or so the guy I thought was my dad. This is gonna be a little story about how I grew up thinking, honestly thinking, that this man was my father. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amanda and this is my channel. And I just wanted to wish all of the fathers out there happy Father's Day. I just want to shout out to my father who's non-existent. He dipset a long time ago. It's just something I've been thinking a lot about lately and it kind of makes me really sad. I'm gonna go ahead and start all the way from the beginning. I always thought that this guy was my dad. I faintly remember being in first grade and him coming to pick me up every day. Every day he would come pick me up from school. And I remember like telling him how my day was, you know, just normal kid talk. And then one day out of nowhere, he just wasn't there to pick me up. And my mom showed up like 30 minutes later, which was super late because everyone was already gone. And she basically explained to me that they're not together anymore. I honestly don't remember this conversation between me and her, but I'm assuming that she told me like, hey, things weren't working out, so you're not gonna be seeing that person anymore, right? It didn't really affect me so much. I mean, I don't remember it affecting me a lot. I don't remember sitting there and being like, oh, I wonder where this person is. Like, yeah, every once in a while, every few years, I'd be like, wow, I wonder where. We're gonna call him Pablo for this video, but I always remember thinking like, wow, I wonder where Pablo is. I wonder what Pablo's doing. And then once I got a little older, like once I was like 15, 16, I found out that that guy was not my freaking dad at all. I thought he was my dad and that they just broke up because he's in all of my baby pictures. So I just thought that was my dad, but I was wrong. That's not my dad. It's just a guy that my mom was dating at the time. Yeah, so this is the part where it gets a little tricky. So now we're gonna go into the how I came about, where I came from, the fruit of my loins, or whose loins I came out of. You get the point. So, my mom, this is all taking place in Puerto Rico. So my mom was like a pioneer for beepers. Yeah, you might be too young to even know what that is, but beepers, those like cool little gadgets. Yeah, okay. So she was like a pioneer in Puerto Rico for beepers, and she had her own beeper store. The beeper store, obviously you're gonna be in connection or in contact and have connections with people in the industry. And my father was owner of some of the telecommunication towers in Puerto Rico. Eventually, my mom and my father met through the whole like cellular beeper niche, and my father thought my mom was really attractive. Let me just throw in a little curveball. My dad is 20 years older than my mom. I know, kind of gross, kind of weird. So anyways, my mom was like 20 something at the time, close, like 25, 26, anyways, and this man was 50 years old. And I guess the best way to describe him would be kind of like a gray from 50 Shades of Grey.
Fucking weird.
And my mom told me that he would send the limos to go pick her up, and in the limo, like the driver would tell her, oh, well, this is the outfit that, let's name my dad. Oh, let's just name Mr. Gray. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so my dad, Mr. Gray, would just send a limo and the driver would be like, oh, Mr. Gray already picked out this outfit for you, so this is what he wants you to wear. Boom. My mom was like so smitten. She thought that was the coolest thing ever. We're from, again, Puerto Rico, so it's kind of like a small town feel. My mom, my family, we weren't like super rich. We were pretty average. So to have somebody just bring a limo with an outfit for you to wear with some shoes and like to take you out to dinner, to whisk you away to like some badass like resort to spend a night of pleasure. She was wrapped around that little finger of his and she liked it. This went on for a little bit, and Yes, as you might have already kind of asked, yes, my father was married at the time to some other random lady who we'll talk about later. One day, my mom ended up pregnant. It happens. She told him, hey, I'm pregnant, this is what's going on, you're the only person I've been with recently, so you're gonna be a daddy. I kind of changed things up a bit. My dad, Mr. Gray, was the one providing everything. Probably the youngest memory that I can remember. We used to live in this house, in this cute little house in this cute little neighborhood, and I used to have a bunk bed. And the bunk bed, it had like a little tree house or like kitchen on the first floor, so it was like a little clubhouse, and then on the second floor it was like my bed. And I'll never forget, I used to be obsessed with Pocahontas. I still kind of am. But I used to be obsessed, and I had posters, I had dolls, I had everything I could have ever wanted. A, he knew I existed. B, I mean, I'm assuming he has accepted the fact that he's my father, because why else would you be buying me all this stuff? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. We're just gonna leave it at that, right? I have no idea how much time in between, but a little bit of time goes by. My dad's wife finds out about my mom.
I'm pretty sure she's already aware of the cheating scandal. She just didn't want to do anything about it because money's really comfortable and you don't really want to talk or do anything or, you know.
But once she found out that my mom got pregnant, that's when the situation just changed, and she wasn't
Okay with that anymore.
This lady called my mom.
Okay, I know who you are, I know what you've been doing, and you're not a good person.
That's probably the nicest way to put it.
I don't like you, you've been sleeping with married men, and I need you to fluff off.
Basically disappear off the face of the earth. That's what she told my mom. My mom's a very prideful type of person. She cut all ties with my dad, Mr. Gray, so he couldn't really reach her, right? And I've just been with my grandma my whole life after that. I never really lived with my mom until I got a little bit older, but I never knew this story. My grandmother never told me any of this. My grandmother tried to keep everything under wraps because she thought I wasn't old enough to know that information. When I found out about this whole entire story, because I didn't know about any of this till I was like 19 or 20, well, it was like probably 2012. One day my mom sat me down and told me everything, and told me my dad's first and last name, and also told me that I have a bunch of brothers and a sister. So I got really curious, went on Facebook, and I started looking them up. There's only one family in like the whole world with their last name, so it was super easy to find them. And I found them, and I couldn't find my father, so my father didn't have an actual Facebook, but 3 of my brothers did have a Facebook, and my little sister did too. I was able to message 2 of my brothers. Out of those 2 brothers, one of them is older, so kind of like my sister's age, and the younger one was closer to my age, so I think at the time he was 18 or 19. So I messaged them both, and I honestly thought the younger one would reply faster because we're kind of the same age. Plus, isn't this like an interesting story? Don't you want to know if you have a long lost sister or not? But he never replied to me, so I messaged my other brother, and he actually replied to me pretty quickly, and we started talking. I explained to him everything. I sent him photos. Eventually, at some point, we agreed to meet up in Puerto Rico because I was gonna be in Puerto Rico. He lied to me. Like, he's such a liar. So he told me he wanted to help me, that he knew that I existed, that he used to like come visit me when I was like younger, and that he loves me and all this stuff, but like he told me to meet him up at this one spot. I went there, he never showed up. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just really busy, meet me over here. Meet him at another spot, never showed up. So he was literally just trying to play me. I don't know why, I don't understand what the big deal is, but after that, I had to fly back to the States, so I came back to the States. I kind of left everything alone. A few years passed by, and I was actually going back to Puerto Rico to go visit my mom. After I moved out of home, she moved back to Puerto Rico. Since my mom had his name, birthday, and all those crucial information, I was able to get access to like his public information. So his business address, things like that, which is completely legal. So I got this information. I hit up one of my friends, one of my childhood friends, and I was like, hey, Alan, do you mind coming with me? I really want to go like stop by these addresses and try to find my dad, because obviously the route that I've been taking isn't working and nobody's gonna help me, so I guess I just have to show up. We drive to the first address. The first address, it was like an apartment complex, and I was like, there's no way he lives here. There's no way. So we left, we go to the second address. The second address turns out to be like a business, like it's in a strip center and it's like a little business. So I told my friend, okay, obviously there isn't anything here, let's go to this last address. And the last address on Google Maps, when you zoom in, it was like a neighborhood inside of a neighborhood inside of a neighborhood. And it was like a badass house with a pool and all this stuff. So I was like, this is it. We get there, and like I just explained, it's a neighborhood inside of a neighborhood inside of a neighborhood. So it's gated multiple times. So we get there, and the first gate, the first chunk of the neighborhood is right next to a private school. And there's a big gate or like an entrance where you can drive your car, and on top of that was like a watchtower with like a cop. So when your car is going under, they're right on top of you. They're seeing everything, and there's a gate. So like if they don't want you to go in there, you're not going in there. My friend tells me, hey man, there's literally no way we're gonna get through that. We're gonna have to figure out another way. So I was like, well, what are we gonna do if we can't go through the gate? Like I don't wanna break any laws. And my friend was like, how about we just jump the fence and for the private school, and then jump the fence from the private school into the neighborhood. Because to just jump directly into the neighborhood, there was spikes all over the place and that barbed wire. But the private school didn't have barbed wire. So that was the only way to get in. So we did just that. We broke a bunch of laws. We did just that, and then there was cameras. So we were just like running, trying to book it, like just trying to do this super quick, not attract too much attention. So we get into that neighborhood, and then we're walking and like slowly trying to find our way. It's a really big neighborhood, so it was taking quite some time. And then we finally, like, it seemed like years later, we reached the second gate. The second gate was just a really tall gate with barbed wire, and it was like remote access. So there was no pin, there was no guard, there was no nothing. You just had to have a remote, and then it would open up a little bit and then close. And it was right next to a house, so we felt kind of weird like running in there if somebody went in, but regardless, nobody was going in through that second gate, so we were screwed. So at that moment, I'm not gonna lie, I started crying a little bit, and I was like, I guess this is it. Like, I'm not really gonna get to see who my dad is. Like, we should probably just quit. And then my friend goes, no, look, we can do this. So it turns out there was a home that was being foreclosed, and the grass was just growing really tall, which means obviously nobody's there, no TLC. We decide, this house had like a really tall, like, fence, but like made out of concrete. So basically on this house, we went to their backyard, we climbed the fence, and basically just climbed the fence all the way into like another house, and then we made it into that third neighborhood. Well, second neighborhood, sorry. So after that happened, we're like, adrenaline is pumping, we're running, and I think at one point somebody noticed us walking around that neighborhood, because after we jumped that second fence, there was like this little patrol car that kept following us, and I told my friend, I was like, bro, I think they know, I think we should just stop, But he was like, no, just keep your cool. So we finally get to the third and last gate. The last gate is even smaller. There's literally only room for one car in and out, and then there's like a little gazebo, and there is like a patrol guy there. We're standing there, and I'm like, well, there's no way we can jump that fence. So I told my friend, I was like, bro, this is it, like, we're done. We either get caught by the patrol car that literally knows we're not supposed to be there, or I just go talk to this guard at this gate and try to see if he can let us in. So I walk up to the guard, and before I could even say anything, I just broke down in tears, and I was like, my name is Amanda, I'm from Texas, and I came here to find my dad. And he was like, whoa, like, chill out. So finally I was able to explain to him, like, I was like, my dad's name is so-and-so, and blah, blah, blah. Just like, I'm trying to find him, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've never met my dad. And he was like, oh, like, the Gray family? Oh, they live right there. And he pointed at their house, and I saw their house, and I was just like, I just couldn't believe that I was that close to my dad. That close. Like, it just, I don't know, it was like an unexplainable feeling. He tells me, like, hey, I can't let you in this gate, but I can call their home number and see if they'll allow me to let you in. And I said, oh my gosh, please, like, that'll be really, really helpful. So he calls, they don't answer the first time. He calls again, and the second time, guess who answers? You guessed it, the wife. She answers the phone. the guard tells her on the phone, hey, I have somebody at the gate for you. Her name is this, she told me this, and she's just trying to look for her dad, da-da-da. And he comes up to me, he says,
She wants to speak to you.
and I was like, speak to me about what? Like, what could you possibly? So I grabbed the phone. I don't know where I got these cojones, but I grabbed the phone. Hello? And she was like, hi, my name, and honestly I don't remember her name. She was like, my name is so-and-so, and she basically told me,
Oh, esta historia se me hace muy grande.
what that means is basically like, your story is so far-fetched, like your story is so grandiose, like it's just absolutely not believable. That's what she told me. And I told her, I was like, you know who I am. You know who my mom is. You know who my grandmother is. You know who my family is. So, but she kept denying it. So I was like, okay, whatever. And she told me,
Well, he's not here right now, but if you leave me your phone number, I can write it down and give it to him, and if he wants to, he'll hit you up.
and I was like, okay. So I gave her my number. We obviously know this harpy isn't gonna give him my phone number, but it's at least a try. And then I hung up with her on the phone, and then 2 seconds later, a car comes out through the gate, right? And the guard told me, he was like, yeah, this car never comes out at this time. I'm pretty sure that was her. So we're pretty positive that she came out to see like who I was, like all nonchalant, like just trying to creep real quick. The guard at the gate tells me, hey, like I'm sorry, I can't let you in. But if you want to write down your phone number, I'll let like the night shift guard know what's going on and see if, you know, it'll raise the chances of us seeing him and giving him your phone number. And I said, yes, like, thank you so much. After that, there's not much that we could do, so I left. And the next day I had to fly back to Texas, so I was gone back in Texas. And you'll never believe who messaged me on Facebook. My stupid brother that stood me up at a few places. I'm gonna show you guys, I'm just gonna put it on the thingy just so you can read it. And this is off of Facebook Messenger. And I still can't believe he told me all this stuff. It's just so crazy to me. At the time of me searching for him and doing all this, I'm already over 18. I legally can't claim child support. I can't really claim anything. All I can really do is say, hi, my name's Amanda. What's your name? You're my father. Cool. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and change my last name to your last name because that's the way it should be. From my understanding, if you don't, I mean, I don't know, I could honestly be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. From my understanding, if somebody passes away and writes a will and says, I want to leave my stuff to person A, B, and C and not D, then D doesn't have to get it. So I don't understand what the big problem and issue behind meeting my father is. I really don't understand. I really don't need money. Shoot, if you want to make it rain, please. But I don't need anything. I've already graduated college. I have all my stuff taken care of. I bought a car on my own. Like, I don't need anything from him. I just really, really want to know like who my dad is and who I look like, because if you look at pictures of like my family, I'm the tallest person out of everyone. I'm not covered in freckles like everyone else is. My hair is different. My body build is different. Everything is super different. My nose is super different from my mom's. My mom has always told me that I have my dad's eyes. Just the list goes on. So I just want to meet this person. I just want to know where I came from before it's too late. And I guess it never really bothered me because I didn't know that part of me was missing. But now that I know it is, I just really, really want to know. I don't know why that's such a big of a deal. I know it sounds really silly, but whenever I was getting ready to graduate from the University of Texas, at San Antonio, I sent my dad a graduation invitation. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I don't expect him to show up with flowers and then everything's better. Yay, Disney movie. No reply, no nothing. And it's funny because after I graduated in 2016, and like about 2 years after that, my younger brother that I had messaged back in 2012 finally sent me a message in 2018. I'm sorry if the picture looks a little bit different. I had to answer a phone call. I had to step out real quick, but I'm back. I just wanted to know where I came from, and I hope one day I do get to meet my father, and I hope it's not too late because, like I mentioned earlier, he was 20 years older than my mom, and my mom is 50 something. My mom is gonna be 53 this year in October, which means my dad should be about 73 at the end of the year. So yeah, I feel like I'm running out of a little bit of time, and I just really want to meet him. And if he really didn't want to meet me or didn't want anything to do with me, I would have to respect that decision, and that's cool. But he hasn't ever told me directly, straight up, whether it's through text, a letter, a call, anything ever, that he doesn't want anything to do with me. Not to say that I've missed out on anything, because I don't know what it's like to have a father. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there might have been stuff that my dad was supposed to teach me that wasn't done / I never got that experience. But at the same time, it's not like I'm sitting there and like thinking about it, because my grandmother and my mother raised me, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be the strong freaking person I am today. So yeah, you're lost, Dad. I just really hope to meet you someday, and I hope somehow you find out about this video and maybe give me a holler or something, or I don't know. Again, I just really want to see what you look like. I just want to talk to you. I want to hear your voice. I just kind of want to, I know it sounds weird, but I kind of wanted to know what he smells like too. Like, I'm just really curious, like, what kind of cologne he uses. I don't know. It might sound really silly. Plus, I'm also curious of like what his favorite foods are, like what he likes to do. I don't know. Just tell your parents you love them. Tell your mom you love her. Tell your dad you love him. Or if you have 2 moms, 2 dads, tell them you love them. Whatever it is, just don't take it for granted. And I just really hope that I get to meet my dad someday. And if you're still here, thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate it. I hope in the near future, I know some of y'all are probably asking, like, well, why don't you just, hopefully in the near future, I can hire somebody or, you know, do something in regards to making him take a DNA test, so then there's nothing that he can do. But I'm not really sure how that whole process goes, so that's something that I would kind of have to figure out. I'm not gonna go into that right now. Dad, if you're out there, I would really like to meet you. I think that'd be really cool. I turned out to be a really cool kid. I like to do a lot of stuff. I went to school, I got my diploma. I went to college, I got my associate's degree, got my bachelor's degree. And yeah, I'm sorry if, I don't know why you don't want to meet me, but I really want to meet you, like, really, really bad. That'd be really cool. So could you please like call me or something? I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my video. If anybody has any questions, any comments, concerns, hit me up. You can message me, leave a comment, message me on Instagram. Hug your parents and tell them you love them, please. Just call your mom, call your dad up, and just tell them you love them. And shout out to my mom, and shout out to my grandma.